When I look on YouTube, I see all kinds of different things that talk about how to start bladesmithing. But it's very rare that I ever see anyone discuss why you should start bladesmithing. So today, that's exactly what we're going to do. 5 reasons why you should start bladesmithing today. Or soon. I don't know, whenever. Now it's true, especially in today's world, there are thousands of different hobbies that you could take up. It could be gaming, it could be woodworking, it could be video editing, hiking mountains, and I like doing all kinds of different stuff, just like that. So even with all of that, why would anyone choose to start bladesmithing? After all, when you think about it, you're standing in front of a hot forge, it's dirty, it can be expensive to start, and you're gonna fail. You're gonna fail a whole lot, and it's just gonna go terribly for you in a lot of different ways. So why would somebody willingly, intentionally choose to do that to themselves? In my opinion, it is one of the best hobbies that you could possibly start. And I'm gonna try to convince you 5 reasons why you should pick up the hammer today. Number 1, it gives you something real to work with. Our life today is filled with emails and spreadsheets and everything digital. And there's nothing wrong with digital things. However, at the end of the day, all we're doing is filling out data. Whereas bladesmithing gives you an opportunity to take raw material, something that's essentially useless, and through skill, hard work, and a little bit of determination, turn it into something that you can hold, something that you can use. And if you do it well, then this is gonna last you for generations. Think about it. How often are you gonna think about an email once you send it? A couple more times before it's used up? How many times is that spreadsheet gonna give you something that you can hold in your hand to be proud of? Probably not often. Not hating on anyone who has a data entry job, I'm talking about supplementing your life. This, however, is something you can hold, something you can use, something you can hand to somebody else and they look at it and they think, wow, that's amazing. How did you do this? What did you do? What kind of wood is that? And then you hand this off to your children and then they hand it off to their grandchildren. Or you know that this is a blade, if you start selling, this is the blade that's gonna go to a new home. Now, a little piece of you, a little piece of your time and your effort and your work follows that family for a long time. It's a digital world, there's nothing wrong with that, but we cannot forget to hold things in our hands. And making a knife, being a bladesmith is one of the best things you can do. One of the other best things you can do is subscribe to Barrett Knives, because not only am I going to do more things like this, but I am starting Northfire Forge, which is a bladesmithing guild, which uniquely is not just for bladesmiths. So there will be instructionals, but it's also going to include highlights of other crafts, such as woodworking and whatever. If you want to join it to learn, if you want to join it just so you can get a little peek behind the curtain to see more crafts being done, you can join. Back to the video. Number 2, it's incredible for your mental health. I genuinely believe that men and women were designed to create, designed to make things. And when you learn how to make a blade, then all the different skill sets that you're learning benefit you mentally. There's a lot of stress in the world. There's a lot of bills. There's a lot of worries. There's a lot of violence. There's a lot of negative things in the world. But when I get into the forge and I set those things aside, you don't have any idea how relaxing it can be. Because our minds were made to focus and develop and craft. And so you're using your mind, your hand, your muscles, your heart and your lungs, everything as you forge something, or as you're grinding it, or as you add a little decorative element to it, so that now this is not just a piece of steel or wood or whatever, but instead now it's an expression. Bladesmithing really is art. And I know, it's not painting, it's not sketching, it's not, music or anything like that. But to say that bladesmithing is art is highly accurate. And art is well known to be an outlet for stress. You forget algorithms, you forget bills, you forget stresses. If just for a little bit, you get to focus on something without any of the outside cares. Now, of course, there's highs and lows to the craft, and you're gonna win, and then you're gonna lose. You're gonna fail, and then you're gonna succeed, but that just comes with it. That's a topic for another story. Great for your mental health. Number 3 is we are keeping traditions alive. Why does that matter? Well, because sometimes if we just follow the current track of the world, we might actually start forgetting that which made us what we are as humans, as individuals. From as far back as someone learned how to take an ore, which essentially would just look like a heavy rock, and start developing that into something, into a tool that could then be used. You think copper, eventually bronze, and then you think moving on into the Iron Age, and they learned to make steel. These are things that have been done for thousands of years. Every time you pick up a hammer and you heat up some steel, you are participating in an activity, in a profession that literally shaped mankind as we know it. Something that as far back in human history as we can look, we see people have been making blades. We've been making tools. We have been learning to smith. And to me, that is amazing. I love being able to take an ancient craft steeped in tradition all over the world, no matter what culture you find, there's some form of it, and adapting it to a modern era. Sometimes I'll go full traditional. Sometimes I'll include some modern things and, different equipment, different materials. I have not yet gone and, mined out my own iron ore and then smelted it into steel or anything like that. But being able to be a little part of tradition is amazing. I think every last one of us can feel a little more connected to where we've come from. Number 4, bladesmithing teaches patience and humility. It's got a funny way about it of keeping you well grounded. I remember for the first month when I started smithing, I didn't know that there was such thing as a heat treat. And so I put all this time and effort into the blade, and then I went to use it, and in a couple whacks, it bent. And I was like, what in the world? I got cheated out of some cheap material. I thought I spent money on this good quality stuff. Well, I did. It was fine. It was 1084, I think it was. And what are you gonna do? I just didn't know. So that was humbling. I eventually learned that you need to heat treat. And then eventually, it took me a long time to realize that there's 3 steps to heat treating. But anyway, eventually I learned. What ends up happening is that time and time again, you'll put tens of hours or more into a single blade just for it to break on you. And then all of that's gone. And there's no way to salvage it. There's no excuse to make. You made a mistake. That's it. Now you have to live with it. And that's kind of the point, is it teaches you how to continue despite catastrophic failure. At the end of the day, there's nothing else to do other than get back up, try it again. And the more you do that, the more you build a mental fortitude that I see lacking in so many people today, where the first mistake or the second mistake, people will give up. They'll just walk away from whatever it is that they're doing because they don't see the benefit in trying, because I'm not immediately good at it. If you want to become proficient at a craft, you have to keep at it no matter how many times you fail. And you're gonna fail. You're gonna fail a lot. Finally, number 5, it will help you see the world differently. When you're bladesmithing, you start noticing things that you never would have noticed before. You start noticing the different types of wood. You start thinking, well, what kind of steel did they use? How would that hold up for the task of that particular blade? Oh, what's this little cutout? What's this little divot? Eventually, when you start training your mind to see craftsmanship, then it's going to leak into other different types of crafts. As you start to notice, hey, I wonder how they did that. Was that a tool or was that a technique? What kind of wood is that? What kind of steel is that? How do they get the paint to look like that? What is that instrument made out of, and how would you work that out? Do you think it's stamped out? Do you think it's cut out? Do you think it's file work? An example, I started making jewelry, not because I'm particularly into jewelry, but because I saw a video of it and I was obsessed with it. And I thought, hey, I actually have a set of skills now that I can then take advantage of and use to make something completely different. And I made myself a Damascus ring and I cast myself a brass ring. Brass or bronze? Either one. Anyway, it lends you to other crafts, incredibly so. So now you have just augmented your life to appreciate something that you may never have seen before. You can appreciate craftsmanship even if you've never had anything to do with it. But it's important to remember that bladesmithing isn't for everybody. It's hot, it's dirty, it can be expensive, but I got more videos coming out for that. But it helps you in many ways. It gives you something real to hold on to. It's incredible for your mental health. It helps to keep alive traditions so that they're never lost. It teaches you patience and humility, and it makes you look at the world differently. That's just 5. There's plenty more that I could go on about, but I don't want to blather. Now, if you want to see all of this in action, check out this video that I'm going to link probably down below to see exactly how I put these things into practice and I make a build, and I build out a blade, I mean. And then if you want to have a little bit more, don't forget, subscribe and follow on my site. You can join Northfire Forge, that's my guild, and I don't know, join my Instagram. Eventually it'll be monetized on YouTube, you can do that. But go to this video and tell me which of the 5 you saw on display. Thanks for watching. Barrett Knives, out. The type of wood that, will you go away? I'm talking here. Right out of the air. Over time, your appreciation for craft starts bleeding, blending, bleeding, leaking, not leaking. I don't know what the word is, but it's not leaking.